Hey guys, Keith Palmer here with another episode of Game Day Sunday. And today we're going to start with a story that I slightly covered last week. The Google console, which we now know is called Google Stadia and may not actually be a console. It's complicated. I'll go over it. Yeah, we covered this last week with a very uncomfortable looking controller. Um, they they've said a lot, but they're kind of keeping a lot more secret than what they've said. What we know is that it's running on an engine powerful enough to play Doom Eternal, which isn't really all that heavy a game. Like, it looks impressive, but it'll play on a Nintendo Switch. So I think we'll just start by showing a little bit of the gameplay video that I was able to find of Doom Eternal running on a Nintendo Switch. And I'll get you on the flip side of that. So yeah, that it looks pretty standard in my opinion. Um, I really don't know how to feel about Stadia. Now, there's like the idea of it before I can really get into my opinion. The way it's supposed to work is you're supposed to be able to like stream it to any Chrome device, which is a cool concept that's been able to be done for a few years now. Now, if they can do that really well, then this could be huge and way more practical for gaming. But if it doesn't work well, then it's going to be a failure. Um, yeah, we don't know anything about online services or anything. So really, I just before I can fully form my opinion, I gotta wait until they announce more. I think they'll announce more at E3. But yeah, that I don't know, I feel like we're either looking at the next Panasonic 3DO or Ouya, you know, consoles that had ambition but ultimately just flopped hard, or we could be looking at the next like forward step in gaming, like consoles like the PlayStation that were first able to use discs really well, or the uh, crap. What am I thinking of? The Nintendo 64 doing 3D well for the first time. Stuff like that. But we really don't have enough information. I tend to be more on the side that it probably flop, being a narcissist, but I mean, I gotta wait for more information. But I mean, they Google seems to be really going all in on this. They state there's a Stadia game studio, which is pretty big. But yeah, there's really not much more I can say on that. It's surprising. Um, for our next story, we got Cuphead coming out on the Nintendo Switch. This seems pretty standard, but this also follows up on a story from last week where I was talking about the possibility of Xbox Live on Switch. Cuphead, before now, was an Xbox and PC exclusive game by a Microsoft studio. And people are saying it's the first Switch game to be compatible with Xbox Live, although that is not true because on Minecraft you can link your Xbox account. But this is still huge and probably means we'll get some sort of Xbox Live on Switch. Or at least I hope so. I don't know. I fanboyed enough about that last episode. I I don't know. I love the idea of a partnership between Microsoft and Nintendo. They're my two favorite game companies, and they could really build a powerhouse for this. Especially if Game Pass goes on Nintendo Switch, because then Nintendo Switch won't be the haven for cruddy and indie games that don't work very good that you pay like 50 cents for and never touch. I mean, like seriously, go into the eShop on your Switch. 90% of the games you're gonna see are these like weird, obsolete indie titles. Which I'm not against indie titles, but like you need some AAA partnership there. And next we got Apex Legends. I'm only gonna talk about this one briefly because I don't know, it's pretty standard. They started season one, which is a battle royale trend of new content. Not much I can say there. I haven't seen much personally. I love Apex Legends. I just have been too busy to play it. But the last big story I'm going to cover here today is earlier this week there was some news about a Lucasfilms games possibly doing some Star Wars games in Disney instead of EA, which people were really excited about because EA has not made a very good Star Wars game yet. They really messed up Battlefront 2 with their free to play stuff. And overall, people just don't like the games they're putting out, although I think Respawn will do ones will be good. But then it turns out that Lucasfilms games has been around, and what they're going to do is they're just going to help out, with EA making the Star Wars games, which I still think's good because if you remember back to the early 2000s, late 2000s, LucasArts was making Star Wars games, and they made great games like the original Battlefront series, the Jedi Knight trilogy. I could go on for hours. There's so many good Star Wars games. And them helping could really help freshen the Star Wars games up because they just feel cash grabby and not very good right now. Although that's aside from the Respawn game, I can't think of its name off the top of my tongue right now. Yeah, that's a very exciting time in video game world right now. It's like you have Microsoft and Nintendo possibly partnering up Xbox Live, trying to make this global expansion. Got Google trying to enter the video game world, which is interesting. The rise of a new battle royale, Apex Legends taking over Fortnite, and just talks all over the place with games. And I know last week I said this is normal with the E3 season, but this is like this of the past few years that I've been following the E3 season. This seems to be like one of the craziest. I feel like we may be on the next step in the gaming evolution, where the past few years it's been Xbox versus PS4. But if you think back all the way to the 70s, Atari rose to the top, and then people stopped liking them, and we moved to a next generation and went to Nintendo versus Sega, and then Sega died out, and then it was Nintendo versus PlayStation, and then Nintendo kind of took a backseat, and then it was Xbox versus PlayStation, and I feel like we could be approaching the next step in that. What it's going to be, I don't know. But as a game, I haven't really been as excited for the behind the scenes stuff as I am right now. Like I'll I'll be honest, I haven't played much games. I've been busy, but the gaming industry has just got me super interested right now. Like things are happening and it's great. And as things are happening, don't forget to tune in here while I'll talk about the stories that I find most interesting from the week here on Game Day Sunday on Geek Source Entertainment.